So we have a test mock website that we use for demonstrations. This is our generic boxing company. We call it TKO Boxing. So I'm going to be testing via this web page here. So the first thing I want everyone to know is that when you are logged in to the new interface, it will be some people might find it a little overwhelming because it's going to look a little different. But don't worry, everything that you're used to is there, and I will make sure that you're experts by the end of this. So the first thing I want to show you is when you get into the new interface, up at the top here, this is where you can set yourself online and offline. If you're online, you'll be green. If you're offline, you'll be orange. And of course, until we take the classic version away, you will have access to jump back and forth. So for the time being, you absolutely will be able to go back and forth between interfaces. So that way, if you are in the middle of something and you're like, I just need to get back real quick because I forgot where something is, you'll be able to do so. But hopefully after this session, it'll be a lot easier and it won't be as needed. So the first thing I want to do is show you how to set up a chat, how a chat comes in, and how you work with this panel. So give me 1 second and I will start a chat on the website here. So when a chat comes in, you'll still get the sound and notifications that you were used to from either the desktop application or your browser. An incoming chat will be red, letting you know that you need to accept this chat. So you'll click on the chat here, and then down here is the green accept button. This is what you'll click to then accept the chat. And now you're conversing with the customer here. Over to the right-hand side, we have what you were used to seeing in the General tab is now the Request Info area. So you're going to see everything that was filled out in the pre-chat form. And then further going into the information from the General tab, the Details section is going to show you where they're coming from, the current page they're on, the landing page they hit, their physical location. You'll have their computer specs here as well. And if you're using secure forms that do not delete and sit for a while, those will be sitting here. If you're not using secure forms, you won't have to worry about this. Next is history. This is what was called call history in the old version. So now it's listed as requests, which are going to be previous chats, tickets, and callback requests that the person had with you. And then for their active session, you'll see which pages they clicked on. So that'll be listed here. So it'll be requests and pages. And then notes, or if you would like to add notes on a particular chat. So that way, when the chat comes back later and you have specific notes for anyone who takes it, that's where those will be added. So I've accepted this chat. And now, of course, I can chat with the customer by just typing at the bottom here. And your canned response suggestions will still show up here as you type those in, so that is still functional. And then when you send a message, it'll also tell you when the message was delivered. And it will also show you when it was read. So for example, as the customer here, I'm looking at this. And then I'm going to also send a notification as well. So you'll see here that the chat color now has changed. It's saying I need a reply, just like it does in the old version. It has the yellow letting you know you need to reply. And this will keep ringing as you're used to, so nothing changes there. But there are some interesting add-ons here. Number one, if I go back and I start typing as a customer and I don't send the message over, I'm going to be able to see that that person is indeed typing. So you can actually see what your customers are typing before they send it to you. And then, of course, it's time-stamped and you'll get notification once they submit it. So this way, if someone's typing a long question, at least you can start working on the answer. So that's one of the newer features that I find very helpful and saves time. You're also going to have the ability here when you are answering a question and maybe you don't have administrative access and you're like, this would be a really excellent canned response. So now you have the ability to click this button here and you have the save to canned option. So you're either able to save, if you guys have personal canned responses available, if your admin allows those, you can save to your personal folder, or you can hit save for approval and that'll go to your admins and they can approve the response. So this way you don't have to worry about having to reach out to the admin and go, hey, I have a great canned response I want to add. You can just click this button and then no conversation needs to be had. They'll know, the admin will know who submitted it and when, and they can read the response to see if it's something they'd like to add to the account. Speaking of canned responses, those are now going to be over here under the resources area. So the support center section. So this is where you'll have your responses. So your folders and everything will still be here. And you can click this button here to send a response directly into the chat. Or if you want to expand on it, you can click on the actual text and it will go into the text box. And then you can put the rest of your details in and then submit it. You'll also be able to do a search in case you have a ton of responses. You can get to the one you need quickly by just typing down here and it will bring it up for you. The next thing I wanted to get into were all of the tools you have while chatting with the customers. So the tools, yes.
Hey, before you jump into the tools, I had a couple of good questions just on a couple of things you just touched. Is that okay if I pop in?
Of course.
When notes are added to the chat, will they be visible in the chat transcript? When you add notes as the agent, I mean.
They'll be visible in the chat transcript in the LiveHelpNow side, but if the customer gets copies, none of that will be visible.
Right. Okay, good. And then can you explain what the different colors mean in the chat box left-hand bar? Sometimes it's yellow, sometimes it's green.
Sure. So green represents that as an operator, I'm waiting for a reply. And when you hover your mouse over any of these, it will define them. So for example, if you had multiple chats going on here, you'll want to know where the conversation is at each of them. So green means that as a chat agent, I'm waiting for the customer to reply. And then when the customer does reply, it'll update to yellow, representing that you need to, as a chat agent, now answer the customer. And of course, you'll be getting a bicycle chime sound repeatedly until you update that. Red represents that it is an incoming chat. It hasn't been accepted yet. And later on, we're going to demonstrate a whisper, in which case is orange. And we'll be doing that shortly. The other colors that you may possibly come across are blue and gray. Blue would only show if you have it set to view departed visitors as well. So like say you chat with somebody and you end the conversation or they end the conversation and they're still on your website, they'll be shown as blue, meaning they have recently interacted, but they're still browsing on the website. And gray means that they are simply a browsing visitor and they have not engaged in chat. Okay, so now we'll go into the chat tools here. So they'll sit in this little ellipsis. And when you click, you have all of these available here. And as you use the tools, they will come out here to the left-hand side, like taking tools out of a toolbox. So the first tool that we have is brand new. It was just released. It is called Voice Chat. This is going to be a game changer when you need to actually speak with your customer and you don't want to get a phone involved. So say you're in a conversation and you're like, this really needs to just be done over the phone. This is getting a little too complicated. So you could ask your customer, hey, would you like to start a voice chat? And if they agree, you can click this voice chat button. And then what'll happen is on the customer end, a prompt will come up to them asking, we would like to start a voice chat. Can we enable your microphone and speakers? And if they agree, then you two will then be connected via the chat. So you guys can speak over the internet without a phone call and finish the conversation through voice, and then you can hang it up. So a chat can easily become a voice call, and this has no phone attachment needed. So as long as you have a microphone and speakers, you can communicate through voice directly through chat, and it's part of the live chat subscription. So this will be really beneficial, especially if there's a technical conversation or something that needs to be communicated much easier. A voice chat may be the way to make this a much smoother experience for the customer. The next tool we have, of course, is attachments. So you're used to sending files, like the file transfer. That is now called attachment. And when you click on this, you now have the ability to either send a file from your hard drive. So you can hit choose file. It'll open up your hard drive and you can select a file and then hit send, and it will go over as an attachment. So for example, if I choose a file here and I take a random image here, let me find an appropriate image. Here's me and my cat. I think that's safe to send. Okay, so I'll hit send here. And now the image will pop up in the chat conversation itself. So this way, if you need to send a file to a customer, it'll be easily seen in the chat there. And then if it's any other kind of file, like a document or whatever, it'll be something that they can click and then download. Same with the image as well. And if you need a file from the customer, instead of send, you would hit request and then hit send. And then it says the file request was sent. And then on the customer end, they have the ability to then select up to 5 attachments and then send those back to you into the chat. And of course, everything is scanned. There is no vulnerabilities. Everything will be scanned. Okay. Next, we have the animated GIF option. I'm sure you're all familiar with this from social media platforms, but basically you search for a theme of GIF and it'll give you that, and then you can send it over into the chat. You may have this disabled. So if you don't have this option and it's grayed out, it's because your administrator deemed it unnecessary. So it'll be grayed out. Any feature you're not privy to, your admin will have disabled and it won't be usable. So if you can't use something, you'll have to speak with your admin. The next tool is to transfer a chat. So if you need to transfer a chat to a different department or staff member, this will give you the option here. You'll have the available departments. So the system knows who's available. It won't tell you, it won't allow you to send chats to places that aren't online at the current moment. So you can select from a specific department, and then you can assign it to whichever available staff and then transfer it over. And then when the chat's transferred, of course, they will get notified that the chat has been transferred, and then they can go ahead and accept the chat and continue helping the customer right from where they left off. Next is the translate feature. So if you're chatting with international clients, you can select different languages. This is a Google Translate plugin. So for example, if someone comes in speaking Greek, I can change it. Now, anything I type in English, I'll get the English and the Greek for clarity. And then on the customer end, they're simply receiving Greek. And then when they respond in Greek, it'll translate back over into English or whatever language that you have it set to. That way, there's no language barrier and you can assist your customers globally. And if you need to turn off the translate because the customer goes, oh, I happen to know, your primary language, you can hit reset and it will stop translating for that said chat. There's also the email transcript option. So if you need to email the transcript the chat you're currently in, and you want the transcript to go out to either the customer or somebody on your side, you can put in the email address, hit send, and it will send a copy directly to that person's email. Remote help is the Zoom integration. So if you guys have a Zoom account and you want to be able to initiate a screen sharing session, you can plug in your Zoom account and be able to start that from chat, and it'll work similar to how voice chat works, where it gives the customer a prompt and they can decide whether they would allow this, and then it can continue.
Hey,
Next is, yes.
Okay, I got a couple of good questions. You want to take a quick
yeah, let's go for it. Yeah.
All right, so on the language translation, it doesn't auto detect. So how do you guys figure out like what language is the person chatting in so you can translate it correctly?
Very good question. There's a few ways you can do that. I've been here for a decade, so I've found ways to make it easy. Number one, if they're coming from a different country, at least that's a dead giveaway. But I know, especially in America, that's impossible because there's every language under the sun. So what happens is if someone comes in, you look at what they wrote in the pre-chat question, you'll copy whatever they wrote, and then just open up a tab in your browser and go to Google Translate, and there's a language detect option, and you'll just paste that in there, and then it tells you what language it is, and then you can go ahead and select it. It's been requested to be able to auto detect. I believe the development team is working on making that possible, but I don't have any details. We've heard that request, and we're looking into finding a way to make it so that it auto detects as it comes through. But currently, it's not possible at this time.
That's good. Jared, how do you see browsing visitors on the site?
I was going to get there, guys. No, I'll show you. So to edit browsing, what you're seeing here, like I'm seeing just chatting. There's a whole other thing. You guys are going to have a lot more options here. So I guess I'll get into that right now. So up here, there is this little funnel icon, which is all of your different filters. You don't have as many of these as default. You can create as many of them as you want. So say you want to see everything that's going on. There is a show all option, and this will show you everything: chats, tickets, callback requests, departing visitors, everything. It's a very long list. So like when I get all the way past all the chats, tickets, and calls, your departed visitors here. You guys might not use all these different services, so you may just have chat or what have you. So you guys have the ability to create your own custom filters. So for example, if we go up here and go to create new filter, you are then going to have the ability to really get into the nitty gritty here. Like, I want to see browsing visitors. I want to see departed visitors. I only want to see chats in my department, or I only want to see this agent's chats, or I only want to see them if they're coming from this country. So you can really get specific, and you can create these filters and name them and have all the different setup. And you can do this for chat, tickets, and calls. So that way, you can have a custom view of exactly what you need to see. And then a lot of people say to me, it's great that you can create a custom filter, but maybe it's too much to see just all of these things. Like, I kind of want to be able to still switch back and forth and be able to toggle better. Well, that's another thing. We have this new pin option where you can create, again, as many of these different custom views as you'd like, and then you can pin them over here to the left-hand side. Now you can toggle between your custom views, like here's chats, here's tickets, here's calls. That way you don't have to just scroll and scroll and scroll. But some people want the madness. I sure enjoy the madness. I like to have everything all on one screen, but we totally understand that others may want to have organized views. So you guys can pin how you want them in succession and click through them as you need. And there's a lot more here than just that. So besides that, looking at this view here, you're probably thinking, all right, I see like the phone number, I see the status, like how do I customize all this? Maybe I want to see different stuff here. Well, you can do that as well. So, and there's the cool thing, these features I'm going to jump into now, these are agent settings. These are ones that you guys on an individual basis are going to be able to edit yourselves, and it won't affect the rest of your account. So if you click over here to agent settings and go to record info, you can have up to 4 different pieces of data showing at a glance when you're looking at chats, tickets, calls. So you can say, like, I want to see the company, I want to see, the agent assigned to it, and I want to see, maybe I have a custom field that I have passing through. I want that to show. And you can do the same thing for visitors, tickets, and all that. And when you save it, it'll then display that data. So if you're looking at everything at a glance, you're able to see the details. If you don't want to see all of these details and you just want to see how many chats there are, you can hit hide details, and it will show them in a row like this. And then you, of course, can expand it if you'd like to see more. You're also going to have the ability to sort live records. So if you have a lot of chats happening at once, you can set up like by department, by agent, or mine on top. So like if there's 30 chats going on and you're able to see everyone else's chats, you can filter those the way that you would like. There's also a search. So you can search through the live records. So again, if you guys have tons of chats going on, you can say, all right, I need to pinpoint this one person. You can type in an email, a name or whatever, and it will bring up that to the very top with whatever you're searching for. So that'll make things just a little easier when filtering through and looking at customer information. I'm going to get into more of this, but I wanted to finish up where we were with the tools because I don't want to jump around too much. But hopefully that answered your question. Okay, so in the tools here, we were at ban user. So if this is grayed out, your admins don't let you ban. But say a bot comes in and starts sending you nonsense, this would be a great time to ban it. So you can put in a reason why you're banning and click ban visitor. The ban will last for 48 hours, so they won't be able to chat anymore, and they won't know that there's a 48-hour limit. They'll just chat won't be an option for them anymore, and they'll give up. But it will lift after 48 hours. If you ban someone by mistake, the administrator can remove the ban with a click of a button. So don't get upset. Your administrator can fix it if you do by mistake. But again, you have to click on the person, then click the button. So it's like a couple of step process. So you definitely have enough time to be like, oh, wait, this is the wrong person. And then, of course, there's the end chat option here. Oh, sorry, spell check. Spell check's usually enabled automatically, but if you don't have it enabled and you want to be able to check your spelling before you send a message over, you can just click this button and it will check your spelling. And then there's end chat. End chat, you can either end it immediately or based on time after no new messages have been received. Ending a chat, the one thing I want to mention about this, if you end a chat, the window on the customer side closes. If you want the customer to, you want to be sure the customer read the message. Number one, you can see when messages are sent by you and when they're read by the customer. So if someone stopped answering you, at least you'll know that it was read. But I would recommend letting the chat time out. There are settings on your account to have the chat timeout automatically after a certain period of time. That message will stay on the customer's screen because you don't know what's happening on their side. Maybe their kid knocked over a glass and they have to get up and do that. And then when they get back, the chat's gone. They're like, hey, what gives? At least when the chat times out, it tells them that, and it gives them the option to either start a new chat or submit an offline email. So I think it's a better customer experience just to let your chats time out if they stop answering you. Now, I understand there are certain fast-paced environments where that's not an option and you're told to end chats and you do whatever your admin tells you to do. But if you want your customers to have the ability to start a new chat up without the window closing, just let the chats terminate on their own. Again, that's just depending on what your admins have instructed you to do. Okay, next, I wanted to get into some of the other agent settings. So if we go into this agent settings area, there's also an auto accept option. This doesn't mean that it automatically accepts the chat. This means that when you click here, it'll accept the chat rather than having to go down and click that green accept button. You'll just click the button and then it has the chat accepted. So use that at your discretion. There's also panel layouts. So we understand everybody's different. So we allow for different custom layouts. So if you're like, hey, I'd rather have this stuff shifted over to this way, you can do that, or a few other options here. And there's also now a dark mode. So in case you want to give your eyes a break, you can switch to a dark mode, which will make things a little smoother at night. And you're noticing I'm ignoring the contact info area. That's not available yet. That's a sneak preview that's coming, but we're not going to be discussing that until a little later. It's not fully finished, but just know that we do have a newer feature for that coming. Okay, next I wanted to get into some of the simpler things like the agent-to-agent chat. So over here, there's this little agent list area. And this is where you can see all of your agents and who's online. If they're online, they're green. If they're offline, they're orange. And then you can click and have individual conversations with your staff. So I'm going to actually have Jason help us with the whisper area. So now when an operator sends you a message, a little number will come across this little agent list area, letting you know you have an unread message. And this will make it so that you're able to see that you have an unread message from your staff. Also, if you see down here, you can watch what your staff are typing when in a live chat. So you can see Jessica wrote this message in here. It says, hello, I'm Jason, not actually Jessica. But you can see Jason sent that. We watched him type it before it was sent. And this is a whisper message, meaning that it's not shown by the, not shown to the customer. So if we take a look over here on the customer side, it's not seen. So this way, if you need to whisper into the chat as an administrator or an instructor, you're able to whisper that in. And it's great because then if the person that is taking the chat needs to ask you a question, you can hit respond to operator, and this will open up the chat conversation. So that way you can respond back and go, hey, actually, the reason I'm telling them this is so that way if you need to go back and forth before you send the whisper over, you can do that. And then you also can copy the information directly to the chat and send it over. But like I said, you're not only able to see what your customers are typing to you. If you're able to view chats that aren't yours, you can watch what your staff are typing to your customers before they're sent as well. I just wanted to make that clear. Okay. The next thing I wanted to get into was getting into just typical stuff, the admin panel. The admin panel is now this little gear icon. So if you click on this, it'll take you into the admin and settings. And then if you need to get back out, you hit Agent Workspace and it will take you back in. If you need to get to the analytics, that'll be the reporting area. That's the little graph icon. Click this guy here and it will take you into reporting. And then you can either go to the admin panel or go back to the Agent Workspace. If you're not an administrator or have administrative privileges, you will not be able to do much in these areas. So that's why you can just click back in. So if you accidentally go to them, you can always just follow yourself back to this panel. Now, I assure you, everybody that's using tickets and calls, we're going to get to that in a few minutes. I just wanted to finish up with chat here, and then we're going to get into the ticket portion. So the last thing I wanted to touch on before we went into tickets was this little plus sign here. This is where you can do outbound SMS chat. So if your team uses SMS and you want to send text messages to your customers, you can click the plus sign, go to text, and then this is where you're able to type in the phone number, the message you want to send to that customer, and then hit start SMS chat. And then that'll be a record on the screen that'll disappear. And then once they respond to that text message, it'll then initiate as a chat via SMS. Okay. Before I go into ticketing, I just wanted to touch on the top pieces here. So up here, you can see there's all different stats here, the challenge, visitors, chats, tickets, all of that. Up here, you now are able to customize what stats you would like to show at the top of the grid here. So you guys have the ability to set whatever you want to see up here, and then that'll display as you need. But that's basically the, oh, wait, my apologies, folks. Two different things I forgot to touch on. If you use secure forms, they are now sitting over here. So they're underneath where your canned responses are, under the forms area. So if you're sending a secure form, you would just click the button, it'll send it directly into the chat, and then the customer can still work through it the same way. They click on the form, fill out the data, and then they submit. So that'll all work the same way that it did in the past. That's just where they're accessing it now. So this will still all work the same way. And then tags. If you guys use those chat tags in the classic version that would slide out to the left-hand side of the conversation, now the tags just sit at the bottom here. And if you have tags as an option, it will light up asking you to require, a tag. So you can actually tag the chat just as you did in the past. Okay, so now we're going to move on to how ticketing works in the interface. So like I said before, folks, you can customize your views. So I'm going to switch this to tickets now. And I'm going to show you how this all operates. So you'll see right now I have all these open tickets. So I'm just going to create a new one. And in the same way, I'm going to show you how to create internal tickets. And then we'll work through that ticket. And I can show you how this all operates. So you click on the new record option and go to ticket. And then This is where you can select the department you want to assign the ticket to. You can assign it to the agent. And then you can also add your watchers here, as you did in the past. And watchers are people that get carbon copied or CC'd via email whenever the ticket's updated. So if you need someone on your end to be updated, or if the customer needs people on their end to be updated, you can put external watchers as email addresses. So then they'll all get updated whenever this ticket does. So then we'll go in here and we'll go to, I'm going to put in the customer's information. Also, if you're in a chat, get from chat still works. So you can pre-populate the entire chat conversation you had. And I am just going to put in some nonsense here in the question. I'm going to submit this ticket. It is asking me to tag the ticket before submitting it. So if you have, you can set that rule. So if you need to make sure the ticket's tagged before you submit it, you can do so. And then I, of course, have the spell checker popping up because I just keyboard mashed there. So then it says the ticket has been created. So then that comes up here. It's at the very top. The latest tickets will show up at the very top. So I click on the ticket and then I have all the information, the submitter's information and everything. I have their details. I can see the ticket history here is under the audit log. So that's where ticket history is now called. So every action that's happened with the ticket is timestamped and what had happened. Of course, you'll have the computer specs of the person that submitted the ticket. If you're using secure forms, they will be listed here. The ticket history is now here. So you can see if they've had previous chats, tickets, like I said, that'll all be listed here so that you can go back and review those if you need to. Of course, you can see what pages they had viewed, but that doesn't work in tickets. That's in there for chat. And of course, the notes. So when you go to work on a ticket here, you have all your tools, like you're able to do the formatting. You can add files in here. You can add images. You can change the text from left to right, depending on what language. You can edit the alignment. So say I'm going to go and answer this ticket. Your canned response suggestions will be here. Your tags, your canned responses, and your secure forms are all here, so you can still utilize them. And when you go to work on a ticket and you go, all right, I want to submit this as waiting for response, or I want to submit this as a resolution. When you type out your answer, you hit send, and then those options pop up. So you can choose whether you want to notify the customer or whether it's visible. You can resolve the ticket, set it as a status of working or waiting for feedback or add a comment. And then all of your other ticket tools are going to be over here in this little ellipsis. If you're an administrator, you can delete tickets. Otherwise, that won't be an option. You can forward tickets outside of your organization. So if they need to go to a person who's not part of the LiveHelpNow ticket system on your account, like if you need to send this to the president because they need to weigh in, you can send it over. And you can do a public or a private copy. A public copy will show all the back and forth of the ticket. A private copy will just show the initial customer's request via ticket. You have the option to create a new knowledge base article out of the ticket. So if a ticket was like, hey, we need to make an, if you have, if you're subscribed to our knowledge base and you want to create a knowledge base article out of the ticket that you have, this will open up the article the article creation area where you can turn this into an article. This is where you can add watchers. If it's a ticket that's not being created by you and it's already existing, this is where you can set up the watchers area. You will be able to reassign tickets to different agents and departments this way if you need to manually reassign. You can select, just like kind of like how you transfer chats, you can reassign tickets directly to staff or departments, and you can put notes and then, of course, assign the ticket. You can ban the email. So if somebody sends you, it's like a spam email, you can set up a ban. The longest is 1 year. Trust me, if you have any kind of spam, just set it for 1 year and it'll never come back. Don't ever worry about it. And then if the ticket is closed, and that's what we're going to get to next, about being able to reopen closed tickets or make tickets public if they're private. So right now, I can see all the active tickets. I can see tickets that are being worked on. I can see the back and forth. So the first thing I want to do is I want to close this ticket. So let's resolve it. All right, so now the ticket's closed. and it's showing me that it's closed and it's sitting there. But once I click on a new record, that moves all the way to the bottom. So if I have this ticket and it's closed and I want to reopen it, I have the ability to do that down here. If you need to search through tickets like you did in the old interface, you just go into your filter and then you go into your ticket settings. So I have one for all tickets. And then I'm going to go in and I'm going to customize this further. I'm going to say, I want to see status closed. And then I hit save. So now I can see all the closed tickets here and I can get into those and I can review those if I need to, especially if there's one that I'm looking for in particular. And of course you can specify it further, but all of your views, especially for when you're working on tickets, is you can go in here and drill down just like you did in the old interface. So you just make sure you set how you want it, and then you'll be able to get all of this where it needs to go. Now, there's one, and this is probably being asked right now, I can't see, but someone's going to ask, where do I see unassigned tickets? Right now, unassigned and open are together. Our development team is working on putting unassigned in here so that you can just get a view of unassigned that's coming. But right now they'll be lumped in with the open tickets if they're unassigned. So just that will be updated in the future. I think in the coming few weeks, that'll be unassigned will be an option as well. But like I said, you can search for all of your open tickets. You're waiting for feedback, and you can set the date range, the category, the agent. So you'll still be able to view everything as you wish. And like I said, you guys can create all the different filters you need and then pin them so that you can go through how you need. So that way you're not just scrolling and scrolling and scrolling, unless you're like me and like to do such. But the good thing about this is some people have said to us, I really want to be able to just work through everything on one screen and not have to switch back and forth. Well, that's where this comes into play. Your chats, your tickets, your calls, everything can come in here. Another thing too, folks, is when you're working through these areas, you have the ability to expand this stuff. So you can make like your work area larger, and you can bring this stuff back if you need to. So, you know, you can definitely make this more your own than you could in the past. Another thing too, you guys,
Jared,
yes.
Sorry to interrupt you. Someone had mentioned in the Q&A, can you expand and contract the menu? And I had read that as meaning, can you drag them back and forth? I thought you would show them that.
No.
So let me show that one more time.
Yeah, sure.
Show them what it'll do. Yeah.
If you want to take these guys away or move them over, you can click here and that'll collapse that. And then the support center will collapse here. And then you can just click up here to bring this back. You can basically click any of these to bring this back, or the magnifying glass, and it will bring them back. So you guys can adjust these as you need while you're working.
Great. Thanks.
Yeah. Oh, and also, since this is in beta, folks, down here, you want to give us feedback, please do. You can go down here and it'll open up a little questionnaire, and you guys can give us feedback on what you like, you know, or what you think needs improvement, or if, you know, anything. But if you guys have any issues, just reach out to us directly. You don't have to fill that out here. Like if there's a problem or you're having any issue, come to our support. You can either chat, call, or email us. We found that some people are putting this in the survey. It's much quicker if you guys just call or reach out to us if you're having trouble, because we can always help you out there. Support is free, so you guys can reach out to us with any questions, or if there's something that you're having trouble looking at or understanding, we can definitely help you. One last thing, just to be thorough, right here, if you're in chat, this shows you how long it's been since a message was sent. This is the country of origin the person's coming from. This is whether they're a returning visitor or not. And these are those visitor flags that you had in the past. So if you want to utilize those, or you are utilizing them, they'll be listed here to be operational. But that's basically the chat interface and the tickets in a nutshell. Also, calls work the same way. Just a matter of the calls will be listed here, and you can work through them and accept them and all your call tools will be the same, just as chat and ticket work. It's all the same thing. But I guess we can open it up now to the rest of the Q&A. And then if you guys are satisfied, don't have any other questions, thank you very much for attending this demonstration here. And again, we're always here to help if you have questions, but let's get through any other questions that people have.
Yeah, Jared, we've had some excellent questions, and I've been holding off on some of them to kind of wait till a good point here. I was going to send you a test SMS chat, because someone asked, how do you know the difference between
We can do that.
an SMS and a regular chat?
Okay, perfect. Well, here's an SMS chat. So when an SMS comes in, there's two indicators. One will be this little SMS icon right down here. And then when you go in and accept the chat here, under device, it's going to say SMS a lot. It's going to have their number as well. So yeah, you have the little icon here, and under device, it'll be a dead giveaway.
Good. Okay. A lot of people ask questions about banning, Jared. Can you extend the banning time? Is it any different with this interface versus the old one?
It is not. It'll still be a 48-hour ban.
And can that be extended?
It is not possible at this time to extend the ban.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh, and one thing about that, folks, if you guys have repeat offenders coming into your chats and bothering you, and they wait the 48 hours and come back, my suggestion is you take the IP address of that person and you submit that to your hosting provider, the person who hosts your company's website. They can permanently ban IP addresses from even getting to your website. So again, if you want to permanently ban people from ever getting to your website, gather their IP addresses and submit them to your hosting provider. They can actually do that for you.
Great. Jared, while we're on SMS, does SMS auto close or keep it open as it does now?
It'll close after 30 minutes of, if you don't end it yourself, it will terminate itself.
Good. Okay. So question on voice chat. So someone asked, like, how do you actually talk to the person who's in chat? And obviously you can't voice chat now because that's SMS, but basically your laptop will need to have a microphone, or you'll need to have a pair of headphones to plug into your laptop for that.
Right. You'll need a microphone and speaker capability, and so will the end user. So that's when you hit the voice chat button, it's assuming, number one, that your stuff's enabled, and I'm sure it will actually, your browser will tell you need to enable this stuff if it's not. And then on the customer end, it will ask to enable voice or microphone and speakers if not, to initiate the voice chat. But you can totally test it out with your staff. So if you guys are in different rooms or whatever, and you want to test out voice chat, you guys can go ahead and start test chats on your site and see how it works. But you guys will literally be able to communicate over the internet without using a phone, as long as you have microphone and speaker capabilities.
Great. So Jared, we have quite a few more questions. So you and I can stay on and do them. I just want to make sure, and we booked everybody for 45 minutes. So if anyone needs to drop off, no problem. We're also going to send a recording of this. Well, we're going to record today's session and Thursday's session, and we'll send out one of them so everyone has the recording. So feel free to stay on. We'll keep answering questions. But for anyone that has to drop off, we appreciate you joining. And you can always reach out to Jared and his team by chat, email, phone, text message, and set up a one-on-one conversation, and we'll help you out. All right, Jared, we're gonna chip away here from the top. You ready?
Yeah, let's do it.
What is the largest file size that you can send?
12 megabytes.
12 MB. Okay, beautiful. Can you upload your own GIFs or GIFs, or do you have to use our library?
It is not our library. It's actually Tenor's library, and they're the ones that I think Facebook and everyone else uses as well. So no, you're at the mercy of Tenor's available GIFs.
Who wouldn't want to send Voldemort in their chat? Right?
Now, there is one thing you can do. So again, this is me knowing way too much about this. If you guys do have your own GIFs is one way you can do it. It's a little cumbersome, but I'll tell you. If you have them uploaded somewhere on the internet, where like a link to that GIF, you could literally make it a canned response and put the link to the GIF within the canned response, and it will show up. So if you have that GIF online somewhere, a link to that GIF, you can put the link to that GIF in your message, and there you go. Your custom GIF is now in the chat.
Okay, great. So someone asked, I'd like to know what you and team members mean. I'm the only one who answers our live chat, but there are constant changes in numbers that they're trying to figure out. So did you mention something about you and team members?
The challenge.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So the challenge, number one, and for everyone here, this is a courtesy. A lot of people take this really seriously and get upset, but it's just a courtesy thing. So what we do is we measure how well you're using the system. Every industry is different. Not everyone's going to use everything we offer. We would be very pompous to think everyone's going to use every little piece of our system. So some industries don't use certain things. So this shows you your usage of the system. Anything you're not using, you can click on it and it will show you what it is and how it works. So you can say, is this something I need to do, or is this something I don't? So we measure, and Jason, if you get the link to the challenge metrics, you can put that in the answer for this person. We have a page on our website that shows what we measure in the challenge, like all the exact metrics. We measure things like your drop chat rate, your average response time, your customer survey submissions, and all of those, a lot of different things are then calculated and put together. And then you as an individual are given a score out of 100, and so is your entire account. So you can look at how your score is compared to your other team members. You can look at it through your department and see how your department is performing, and you can see your entire account as a whole. And again, this is a courtesy. This isn't something like, oh no, your score's low. Well, you just may use chat in a certain way where you don't need to utilize certain things. Or maybe you are an internal help desk, like my friend Solange that was here today, where they just speak with their own employees doing tech support. So they don't need surveys because it's their own employees. So they may not have surveys to submit, so there's so many different things that are calculated here, and you may not use certain things. But the one thing about this is if you do score high on the challenge, meaning your team, what'll happen is on the LiveHelpNow website, and I'll just go there now. We have, and this is also,
I did put it in the chat. Yeah, I put it in the chat too.
Yeah, cool. So when you go in here, you can see the top 100 scores for each month of all the out of all of our clients, and you get featured on the website. Some of you are probably in this call right now. But if you get featured on the website, you'll get links to your social media. It'll write up on your company, and you'll get this little badge that you can place on your website showing your customers that you're winning awards customer service. We also have an annual challenge score as well. So that way for the whole year. But these are great to put on the bottom of your website near your contact info. People like seeing it. It makes you guys look like, hey, we're really attentive. Because there are still people out there that think live chat is going to take 8 years to go through, and they don't realize that you guys are right there and you can answer the chats. But you'll get featured here. And the cool thing too is if you do get featured here, people find this when they do Google searches. So it even helps your SEO a little bit. So it's just another nice little thing that we offer. But that's what the you and the team represent. And again, it's just a courtesy. You don't have to take it too seriously. But if you do score high, we let you know that you won. And then you're featured on the website here. And if you don't want to participate for any reason, you can also let us know that if needed.
Jared, did you show everyone how to access reporting?
Yes, but I can definitely do it again. Up here, this little graph icon, that's reporting. And that's the cool thing about this interface. You hover your mouse over anything and it tells you what it is. So if we click on the report icon here, boom, now you're in analytics. And then you can go to admin and settings or agent workspace to get back where you were.
Yeah. And someone did ask, is the reporting getting an update? So we updated the admin workspace last year. Now the agent workspace is updated. I think reporting will get an update in the future, but there's no imminent timeline there in terms of a reporting update. But if you ever have requests for specific reports that you're looking for, we very much are always interested to know what other data you need.
Yes, and also the development team is looking to add some enhancements to reporting, definitely in the future. But yeah, Jason, you probably have a better timeline than I would. It's somewhere down the
road. Someone asked, do you offer AI? Jared, you want me to take that, or you want to take that one?
I can do it. And then if I'm forgetting anything, you can totally fill in those gaps. So absolutely, we totally offer AI. It does have an added cost, but I will explain how it works. So first of all, let's go back to the TKO page. Number one, this is AI right here. This is a bot asking these questions. And then based on my selection, the bot is now asking for information. But say you wanted to have, like, based on they go, all right, maybe I need help with an order. Okay. Did you buy, did you ship internationally? Did you ship domestically? You can ask all those different questions, and then it can drill down to a solid answer, or it can link to something, or it can show a video, or it can package that information up and send it as an email. There are so many things you can do, but yes, we offer AI. It is a decision tree bot. So basically, you give us a workflow on how you want the customer to interact with the bot based on the decision tree, like the selections, and then based on the selection and action happens type of deal. And then the bot can work 24 hours a day. So when you're offline, it can answer all these different questions. And then if you're not unavailable, it can package them up and submit them as an email, a ticket. Or if you're online, it can then go, well, let me get you some help. I'll pass you over to a live agent. So you have all sorts of options, and you can reach out to us, and we can give you all sorts of data on how the bot works. And Jason, I'm sure we can throw that blog article about the bot into the chat. They can start there. But we will meet with you. We will find out your exact needs, give you the full details and run through on how the bot operates and what options you have. So it'll be, really individualized, and you will also be able to update the bot yourself, or we can continue to maintain it for you. So we build the whole thing, we test it, we make sure it's happy, you're happy, and then we can go from there. But absolutely, we offer AI, and just reach out to us if you want to set up a meeting.
Yeah, and Jared, we can also go a step further beyond just the decision tree bot. So if you are really interested in natural language processing or true learning, machine learning, something like a bot that could scrape your knowledge base and respond based on what's on your website, that all can be done on a project basis. So what Jared described is our off-the-shelf chatbot. There's also a lot we can do on a project basis. Let us know, and we'd happy to look into that for you. Jared, a bunch of people have asked, when are we going to basically get rid of the classic workspace or the classic panel? And so the short answer is there's no imminent timeline. We're going to take a month or so to get adjusted to the new workspace, make sure everyone's comfortable, and then we'll communicate a timeline so that everyone has plenty of time to learn, get used to the new interface before the classic workspace would no longer be available anymore.
And we'll be announcing thoroughly when it's going away, and give you a lot of time to make sure everybody is comfortable. We're not going to just take it away and go, good luck. We will definitely be giving a lot of notice of when that's going to occur.
Yeah, someone just popped in and say, how do you set up the chatbot? The answer is reach out to our customer success team, and they will literally white glove the whole thing for you and make sure that it's done the right way.
Absolutely. So start a chat, submit a ticket, or give us a call, and we can work that out. Absolutely.
All right, good question here. So currently in the classic view, agents are set up to only see their chats. Under the new view, they can see everyone's chats. It seemed like they can only set up to view all. So can you, or by department. So how do you set it up so the agents Let's see, how do I set to view agents chats, but departments tickets? I think that was the question. So I think, Jared, a quick review of filters again to show all the different ways you can filter things would be great.
Well, let's do two things. First, for administrators, let's go into the admin privileges and set up, or admin area, and show you how to set up your agent's view access properly. So you'll go into system setup, agents. You click on an agent. Let's click on an agent that's not set as an admin first. Okay. So for the beta, you're going to want to go under view access restrictions for Agent Workspace Beta V2. There's unrestricted, only inquiries to assigned to the agent, and only inquiries assigned to agents departments. So if you're doing queuing, you would want to do only inquiries assigned to agent. If you want to do it based on department, you do only inquiries assigned to agents departments. All of this will be null for the beta workspace. And then you update the agent. Next, what you'll do is, once that's set up, have your agent go in to the filter, and they can create a brand new filter. And under tickets, they'll click all open tickets and go to department. Oh, look, they added unassigned. Okay, cool. That is there. Ah, nice. I didn't know that was there already. Okay, so yeah, you'll set up the department you want to assign to, and then of course the agent as well. So then they now have it set to its own, they're seeing all open tickets, but actually it's specified to their department and this particular agent, and then save that view. And you can say like Jason's view, hit save. And then now they're going to view all of the tickets available. And of course you can add chat and stuff in there too. So if you were working on chat, that would be another thing, all active chats. And then you can say my department only, or just mine, and then save that, and then that way your view is now your custom tickets, your chats, and then everything else is cut out.
Great. Okay. Is there a way to indicate the character limit in the initial form to start the chat? We got lots of cutoff questions, and we have to ask them to repeat their questions.
So you're talking about like when you ask the question and here it gets cut off down here, like, and you're like, oh, wow, there's an ellipsis and there's not enough for me to read. We're actually working on that. We noticed that that was a problem, and we're going to be fixing that. In the meantime, I know it's kind of annoying, but if you switch to classic, you'll be able to see the entire question. And then you can switch back. I know that's not ideal, and that's why we're fixing it. And that'll hopefully be released soon. I don't know exactly when, but our team is aware that that's a problem, and we are working on it. But you can switch to classic to view the question and switch back. Again, I know that's not the best answer, but we will be fixing that soon.
All right, always good questions from our friend Greg. So if we want to segment our database of chat ticket audiences, should we use the flag system? For example, to remove consumers from future marketing databases and only want to capture business types, how can we flag them so when the databases are pulled, we only get the ones we want? Think flagging is the best for that, Jared, or is that something we should chat with Greg about separately?
Greg, are you passing this information from an API, like via webhook? Is that what you're?
Yeah, he's not going to be able to probably reply quick enough.
Oh yeah, well, you know what? Get Greg's information, and we'll have a discussion about it.
Yeah. Okay, Greg. If you want to ping us real quick by chat or email, we'll get back to you. Jared, how do you add the timeouts to the customer side?
So if you want the chat to time out after a certain period of time, you're going to, as an administrator, you go to the admin panel and you'll go to chat windows, and you may have more than one window. If you have one, it'll just be one. You click on it, and then chat session timeout. They're all defaulted at 10 minutes if you don't change them. Then you can adjust from there and then just hit save settings.
Jared, we had a question that I figured, boy, we should have maybe mentioned that right in the beginning. Someone asked, is the beta interface available? Is the new interface available? Which Yes, it's available for everyone.
Mhm.
Can you jump into Classic and just show where the button is?
This TKO site doesn't let you do that.
Oh, we don't even have that. So you should have a blue button at the top of your screen that says, what does it say though specifically?
Here, hold on one second. Let me pause my screen share and I will get that up for you. Hold on,
Yeah.
I'll show you. Just give me a second. Okay, so it'll be up here. It'll say Agent Workspace 2.1 beta. You'll click this guy, and then you're in the new interface.
There you go. Yeah, sorry if that wasn't clear in the very beginning.
Yeah.
Okay. Can you show where the agent statuses are again and who is online?
Yeah, so that'll be down here at this little agent list. Click this guy, and then go to account. You can do it by department or just go by the whole account, and it will show you if you're online, you're green. If you're offline, you're orange. And you can actually kick people off as an administrator if you need to. It also shows you how many chats they're in, how many chats they had a given day.
Perfect. Okay, let's say we have multiple employees. Is there a way to view all tickets that have been closed without having to create a new filter for each individual? So basically all closed tickets, I believe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you'll just have one filter, and you'll just say, you always have to select all open tickets, and it's deceiving, but you hit all open tickets, then status closed, and then just name that closed tickets. Save. And this will give you your entire history of closed tickets. And you can just keep scrolling, or again, you can search and get to what you need.
Yeah. Okay. Perfect. Let's see. Does ending a chat affect your score? Was the question. So if you terminate a chat, does it affect your challenge score?
No, no.
I wouldn't think so, right?
No. No.
Yeah, only if it's abandoned or
if there's negative sentiment in the chat, but otherwise, no.
Yeah. So is there a way to verify when a chat transcript was sent and to who? So in our system, Jared, you can't see when the chat transcript was sent. But if I would assume we would say that if someone is not receiving chat transcripts, there's an issue there, report it to us and we can kind of look behind the scenes to see if that happened, correct?
Yes. Yeah. If somebody on your team isn't receiving transcripts, here's a couple of things you can check. But if all else fails, we can look on our end in our email server and see if it's being blocked or not. But there's a couple of common things that people do that are a mistake. So let's go through those real quick, just so that you can make sure you're doing it right. So when you're in the admin area and you go to chat and then chat windows, and you click on your chat window, you'll go to post chat communication, and you're going to have email transcripts to supervisors. When you are putting emails, a lot of people do this. They'll put the comma and then they'll put a space. The minute you put that space there, you've made all other emails not be able to receive the transcripts. There is no space. So it would be the next email right away afterwards. So just make sure that you have your email set up like that. And then, of course, if you have these selected, again, make sure there's no spaces in between. There's no way to track, if you're asking about customers receiving it, and we have no way of tracking that in the LiveHelpNow system like this. But if you're talking about your agents receiving transcripts, make sure it's set up this way. If you've done this and it's still a problem, just remember which version of there's the legacy pop-up as well. So if you guys are using the older style pop-up windows that don't pop up like this, but if they pop out like this is the old version. If they're like this, then you're going to want to go into the legacy pop-up windows area and go into your chat window settings this way. And then email transcripts. And again, make sure there's no spaces in between, and then hit save at the bottom. I hope that helps.
All right, few more here, Jared. Currently, the end chat is grayed out on their screen. I assume it is not available. So
That,
what? Yeah, go ahead.
talk to your admin. Here's what your admin did. I'll show you. Your admin went into the settings here under chat, general settings, and they took away your ability to terminate chats. So if you're going to have to ask them why they did that, and then they can lift it if they'd like, but it would be for everybody on your account. So just keep that in mind. But yeah, that's what happened. Your admin took away your ability to terminate chats.
Okay, how do I see previous messages? I use the classic page to find this, and I send emails to drop chats.
Okay, so it's much easier than doing that. Here's what you should do. Go into the analytics, go to chat transcripts, and then dropped and abandoned, set your date range, hit search, and then here they all are packaged up. And you can just reach out to these people as you need. Much simpler than doing it the other way.
And last from, actually, this is the same, another question from the same person. Where is the setting for making it ding with awaiting email? I'm not sure I understand that one, Jared. Do you follow that one? Where is the setting for making it ding with waiting email?
If what they could be meaning is, are they getting ticket notifications?
Okay, yeah.
Now, there's two ways that can be done. Unfortunately, I'm on a Macintosh right now. So if you are on a Windows computer and you're logged into the app, there's going to be a gray gear to the right of where your name is listed. You'll click on this gear, and then there's going to be an option called Tools. You'll click that, and then you'll click on Preferences. And then a screen will pop up and give you checkboxes to decide what kinds of notifications you receive. If you don't use an app and you're logged into the browser, whatever browser you're logged into, next to the address bar, there's going to be a lock icon like this. And if you're in Chrome, it'll be a site settings, or in Firefox, I believe it's under preferences. But you can set your notification settings through your browser. And Jason, you can send the browser notification article to help answer this. If you go into the knowledge base, I think if you type Chrome, it's like one of the first ones, but that will be how you can fix notifications and make sure that you have them. But if you're getting chats and not the ticket notifications, you may just need to adjust your app, because if you're doing it through browser, you should be receiving all. If you're still having trouble, just start a chat with our team and they can reach out and connect to your computer and figure out what needs to be changed. So you can always just start a chat with us directly through our website if this didn't help.
All right. And someone just said, boy, I feel like I'm going to need more assistance. And that's okay. Just reach out to us. We got you.
Yeah, we can set up a meeting with your staff if you need more help. We don't expect you to just take this and go, this is all you get. And, we're Live Help now, not Live Help later, or Live Help sometimes. So please feel free to reach out to us directly and go, I would like additional help. We'll be able to assist you.
All right. So looks like we got a couple more. We've been having an issue lately when the chat has ended or terminated and the chatter comes back. It will auto accept the person whom they have chatted with previously. It used to give the green accept option, but instead it just auto accepts. I know where you're going, Jared. So
here's what you got to do. Here's how you answer that. So we're going to go into the admin and settings area. You're going to go to chat. You're going to go to general settings. This is probably set to keep customer assigned here. This is to do what you just described. Set it to remove assignment. And then hit save settings. And then every time that they come back, it'll be available for anyone to grab.
Great. Hopefully that helped. I don't have the person's name that submitted that, but hopefully they're still on to here. Jared, what if a customer submits a ticket it'll look the same as an internal ticket. What would be the best way to tell the difference between an internal ticket and a customer ticket?
An internal ticket is going to have who submitted it. So like if we look at the ticket, it'll say created by. These have emails, meaning these were forwarded in from your ticketing system. Otherwise, it'll just have ticket form, meaning that your staff created it, rather than it being forwarded in from a customer. So
Yeah.
created by is going to give you how the ticket was made.
Good. Okay. And in the previous version, there was a filter for chat to sort by those assigned to me and unassigned. So agents would only see their chats and chats waiting to be answered. What is the appropriate filter for this now?
So the appropriate one for that, where it's assigned to me plus unassigned, there's not like a default one there. So you'll just create a new filter and you'll do all open chats, and then you'll do unassigned and mine.
Good. I think that covers that question. Let me just reread it to make sure. In the previous version, there was filter for chat to sort by those assigned to me and unassigned. Yeah, that covers it. Good. Caitlin, let us know if that doesn't help. Jared, we've answered 57 questions, and there's one more. When using the beta version, it allows me to accept a ticket and type a reply. However, when you send your response, it never sends a reply to the customer. I have to go back to the classic panel to respond. Do we know why that would happen?
When you are accepting the ticket and responding, make sure, hold on, I'm refreshing this right now. Make sure when you accept a ticket and you go to work on it, that when you send it, these notify customer, visible to customer are checked off, and then select resolve, working, or waiting for feedback. You click this button and then it will send it over. If these are unchecked automatically and you can't change that, that means your admin set up something in the back end here under ticket general settings. They have this selected. Operators can only add internal comments to a ticket. Public comments can only be added by resolving a ticket. So you would have to untick this box. If none of this helps, please reach out to us and we'll figure it out for you.